Greetings and salutations, friends and fellow truth seekers. Well, here we are again. What can I say except that for the past several days now, I have been involved in a story where everybody kept telling me how wrong I was. Well, not everybody was. The people who were pushing the story as true were telling me how wrong I was, making me the bad guy, telling me I was wrong. And I guess it's a good time to mention that I learned a long time ago that when someone is wrong and you know that they're wrong, don't correct them. Let them keep talking. Let them be wrong, especially if they disparage you, especially if they attack you. Let them be wrong. There is a huge problem in the so-called conspiracy land or UFO community with people running with fake stories who never even take the time to vet the source of the story. We can see incredible examples of this. We've got people that are interviewing dead people to sell stories about UFOs and aliens. Somehow they managed to interview a guy who died 4 years before they interviewed him. People have written books claiming that they were using a source that was already dead. We've got Gaia Corporation, which is an incredible example of no vetting at all of people telling fake alien and UFO stories. One of the best examples that I can remember is Gaia hosting Randy Kramer, secret space astronaut, who claimed that he was a United States Marine and a Navy SEAL at the same time. Friends, that is impossible. And somehow a multi-million-dollar company who claims that they are bringing people the truth about UFOs and aliens can't be bothered to do the most basic fact-checking or vetting of a source before they run with a story. No, Gaia Corporation hosted Randy Kramer and so many others who were stolen valor frauds. Friends, you cannot be a United States Marine and a Navy SEAL at the same time. It's impossible. But no, there is no ethics. There is no morality. There is no standards in this slimy game. And the longer you're in the slimy game, you realize that. Nobody vets a source. Nobody checks about the credibility of the person telling the story. And this is a huge problem here. And I have seen time and time again, people give people a pass for being criminals. I've seen people give people a pass for being rapists or child molesters, selling alien and UFO stories. It doesn't matter if they're a criminal, even a convicted criminal, even a criminal convicted of, sex crimes against children or kiddie porn. Run with the story, make the money, and then scurry off and pretend you didn't know about that person's disgusting criminal history. And this, my friends, is an epidemic. And there seems to be no end in sight to the number of people who are willing to use criminals, convicted criminals, to bring us the truth about UFOs and aliens. Now, if you're willing to accept the truth about UFOs and aliens from somebody with a checkered past, a criminal history, a history of being sued by creditors because they don't pay their bills, that is your right. You have the right. But I believe that these people who are peddling these stories, when they're using convicted criminals as sources, when they're using people that have terrible, shady pasts before suddenly coming up with the truth about aliens, you should have the right to know that they're using sources that are not credible, that are extremely flawed, and should not be trusted. I don't know about you, but I don't trust somebody with a very bad criminal history to bring me the truth about anything. But that's where I'm at. I'm not sure where you're at. I'm not sure where it is you fall on this debate. Do you believe that people should just be able to use criminals or child molesters or rapists or convicted murderers as sources to sell stories about UFOs and aliens, all while telling you that this story is true without disclosing to you that that source has a checkered criminal history? This is the slime pit, the cesspool of so-called ufology. And no one seems to notice, and no one seems to mind, and let's just sweep it under the rug. And these grifter con artists who use these criminals and people with terrible, shady, conny histories, what they do is they run the story, they get the money, and then they scurry off and pretend they didn't know about that person's checkered past, right? Oh, I didn't vet that source enough. You didn't vet the source at all. Nobody vets anybody here. So you got a good story about aliens? Come on in. Are you a convicted criminal? Are you a thief? Do you have fraud-related charges in your criminal history? Are you an ex-convict? Don't mention that. Just come on in here and tell us your story about UFOs and aliens. So recently, a person calling themselves UFO Truth on YouTube came out with a story claiming that he found Bob Lazar's S4 secret flying saucer base. And several people ran with the story, most notably Third Phase of Moon. And we all know how great those guys are at determining truth or whether something is real or fake, right? They did zero vetting, nothing. And of course, they're not going to mention the guy's checkered past to you while they're shoveling that UFO truth down your gizzard. I keep coming back to this, that these hucksters, these con artist, grifter idiots that are selling so-called UFO truth with criminal sources, they don't realize it. But there is a growing chorus of fans of UFO and alien stories that are getting sick of this shit. I'm not the only one. Yeah, I'm not alone here in being tired of being fed a story about the truth about aliens and then finding out that the person shoveling that story down our throats is using a criminal as a source and doesn't bother to disclose that they're using a criminal as a source. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. So last night, another show host let this guy come on his show and trash me for 2 hours talking about how wrong I was. And by the way, it's important to note, see our show from last night. Third Phase of Moon, this other show host, and this guy, UFO Proof, apparently can't do third grade math. Because in order to sell that story and make it work, this guy, UFO Truth, had to draw hangar bay doors that were 12 feet wide. And somehow we're supposed to all believe that a 52-foot diameter flying saucer is getting in and out of 12-foot hangar bay doors. And Third Phase of Moon didn't catch this. Hey, Rich from Goofon, he didn't catch that. I caught that. I brought you that truth. These people didn't care if it was lies. They just shoveled this shit down your gizzard. Take your UFO truth from a criminal. And hey, don't bother to do third grade math, because all it took to rip that story to shreds and show that it was completely and totally fake is an ability to do basic math. Can you understand that a 52-foot diameter flying saucer can't fit in and out of a 12-foot hangar bay door? These people think you're all stupid. They think you're not going to catch these little things that matter, that prove the story is completely and totally fake. Throughout my time being some of you know, I was a stage magician for a time. And during my, let's call it training, I was very blessed to have some incredible mentors from the world of stage magic. Most notably, a man named Jimmy Ray. who I miss every day. He's been dead for some time now. He taught me more about deception, both how to generate deception and misdirection and how to spot it, than any other person I ever met in that world or any world. I've never mentioned him here, but I thought it was important tonight to mention that I have an incredible ability to see through deception because of the time I spent learning from this incredible magician who was retired at the time, named Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray toured the entire world doing incredible stage magic and incredible illusions. He built everything. He was the most talented man I've ever met in my life. And somehow, being a young man, I got to meet him. But by the time I met him, he was retired. He had terrible health problems due to bad diabetes. They had amputated parts of his feet, and he had gone blind. I always thought it was funny. When I got serious about doing that professionally, I kept looking around for teachers, and nobody really wanted to help me or teach me. It's a very competitive world. Why teach this young kid what I know? He might do better than me. But Jimmy Ray didn't care because he was retired by that point. And I always thought it was somewhat ironic that it took a blind man, it took a blind man to see the tremendous potential that I had to be good at that. And he took me under his wing and he taught me he gave me an education in misdirection and deception. And that education is very useful in this world because my ability to see through people who are deceiving people is very useful here. I saw through the deception of this story, and I knew all about what I'm going to share with you tonight. But knowing that the people telling me how wrong I was were idiots and wrong, I let them go. Let them talk. I like that old phrase, give them enough rope. And boy, did they take the rope, these people. These people did not vet this man telling this fake nothing burger story, but I did. These people think you're so stupid you can't do second or first grade math to tell that the story is fake. They didn't give you that little inconsistency or truth, but I did. And now I'm going to bring you a lesson in why people have to be vetted. I'm going to bring these people pushing this fake story a lesson in why you have to vet a source and why the credibility of a source matters. They didn't care. They didn't care about his credibility. They didn't care how credible he was. They didn't care how trustworthy he was or truthful he was. They didn't care. They ran with the fake story he was pushing, I suppose, for clicks and views, and so they could make money. But tonight we're going to bring you the truth. I'm going to put my fair use banner up, and this is fair use. This is a transformative work. We are educating the public, and we will be critiquing and discussing the materials which we will be sharing under our fair use banner here. This sharing of these materials is, of course, covered under fair use and allowable by law. So I'm going to cite fair use, and we are going to share some things with you that may, if you were on the fence about that story at all, and I don't think anybody should be after last night's broadcast, but in case you still thought, well, maybe it's true, the credibility of the source matters. When somebody is telling you a fantastical, crazy story, how credible they are, trustworthy they are, or honest they are matters. All right. So I'm going to share an article, and we had to pull this up on way back because it's some time ago. And the article is titled Benefit Planned for Kyle Alawia and Make-A-Wish Foundation. All right. So from Valparaiso, a fundraiser is planned on November 18th for Kyle Alawia and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The benefit will take place at Pepe's Restaurant in Valparaiso. Cost is $10 per person, includes one drink ticket and one raffle entry for the door prizes. Kyle Alawia, who until recently was an active member of the Northwest Indiana arts community, just turned 30 on November 9th. 6 weeks ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma, an aggressive and inoperable brain cancer. It's important to note that that form of cancer is almost always terminal. Almost nobody recovers from that. If you get that diagnosis, it's just a matter of time before you die. The article goes on to state that Kyle has been given approximately 8 months to live, and he's unable to work in his condition. Let's make sure that we highlight that. He is unable to work in his condition. The funds from his benefit will help Kyle, whose family has extremely limited resources, to pay for his end-stage care. So that's what the money's supposed to pay for. It was supposed to pay for, I guess, his hospice, so he could go die in peace and not worry about money to pay for his end-of-life care. He will also be using some of the money to make a last visit to his parents, who live in Arizona. Though Kyle wishes to pay for his own care and see his family, he also recognizes there are many others in similar situations and would like to help them out as well. For that reason, he's decided to split the proceeds between Kyle and Make-A-Wish Foundation, an organization that grants chronically and terminally ill children their own special requests. So apparently, UFO Proof, some time ago, long time ago, was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, according to him. And some kind people in his community decided that they would run a benefit for him and raise money because he had terminal brain cancer. I mean, that's terrible. Yeah. 1 second, friends. Now I'm just trying to find the next thing to share, so you're going to have to bear with me one moment. Let me get our next thing. And this is from a more recent article about this issue. YouTuber UFOPROOF faked cancer exposed. The article states that self-proclaimed truther Kyle Nathan Alawia, the man behind the YouTube channel UFOPROOF, hoaxed stage 4 glioblastoma cancer and left the state with the donation money. Who is UFOPROOF? UFOPROOF is a channel dedicated to UFOs owned by Kyle Nathan Alawia. He launched his YouTube channel on August 5th, 2015. He describes himself as a truther, and he dislikes, I love this, he dislikes people who are promoting fake content while he's faking having brain cancer. Great. In 2011, a benefit was planned for Kyle Alawia at Pepe's restaurant in Valparaiso. The so-called truther claimed that he was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma, an aggressive and inoperable brain cancer. Kyle has been given approximately 8 months to live, and he is unable to work in his condition. But during one of his live streams, he admitted that he was performing as a stand-up comedian, which is not possible if you were diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma. Now, I checked with an oncologist today who told me that if you have stage 4 glioblastoma, you're not doing anything but being bedridden and slowly dying a terrible death. You can't walk generally. You're not walking around. You're not doing stand-up comedy while you have stage 4 glioblastoma. The benefit was organized by 2 former friends of UFOPROOF on April 14, 2017. Astral Citizen spoke to one of the key witnesses, namely fundraiser Wanda Spudik. Spudik is still audibly emotional and told over the phone she felt ashamed. The witnesses stated that Kyle Nathan Alawia, or UFOPROOF, hoaxed his cancer. So we've got 2 witnesses who ran a cancer benefit for this man. Both of those witnesses stating that Kyle Nathan Alawia, or UFOPROOF, hoaxed his cancer. He then left the state with the money. She, the witness, stated, "As far as I know, he's alive and well." "It's a bunch of BS," Wanda said. Witness 2, Kelly Lansdowne, was a second key witness. Here, it's interesting that the article states that Third Phase of Moon and Secure Team 10 are friends with the cancer hoaxer in question and even sponsor him, knowing he staged stage 4 cancer and left the state with the donation money. And here's a video of our UFO proof bragging that Secure Team 10 gave him $600. Gave him $600.
$600.
Wow, man.
$600, man.
Nice.
What's interesting is the name of the person who gave this to me. His name is Tyler Glockner from Secure Team 10.
Now, I'm not going to play the rest of the video, but I will, at the end of this broadcast, put all the links that we are sharing in the description of this video so that you will be able to read all of this information in as much detail as you prefer. We're going to be, sort of cherry picking what we share here. Now, I have the witness testimony, and both witnesses, both people who ran that cancer benefit for this UFO proof person, apparently both of them are saying that UFO proof faked his terminal cancer. And it would appear that his actual illness was related to drug abuse and that he did not have cancer at the time they ran the benefit for him. Now, faking terminal cancer and taking money from people running a benefit from you is bad enough. But wait till you hear what else he did at his own cancer benefit. People ran a benefit for him to raise money for him because they thought he had stage 4 cancer. Wait till you hear what he did at his own cancer benefit. Oh, it's glorious, friends. It is glorious. So I found, I found these articles while vetting this source. And I found these SoundCloud from a podcast where they investigated this in full. It's called lionsground.com. They have sort of a social network for people into aliens and UFOs and things like that. And I'm going to play from that. And again, we're citing fair use. This is transformative work. We're critiquing the podcast, which we are sharing because it has the evidence of the two organizers of the cancer benefit in it, and we're going to be discussing it with the live chat. We're educating the public here. This is fair use and certainly allowable by law. So I'm going to once again share my screen, and we're going to get into it. Okay. So we have a short one and a longer one. I'm not sure we're going to play the entire long one because that one's more than 30 minutes, but we're going to play portions of it. 1 second. Let me make sure that I shared the audio. I've never shared from SoundCloud, so I'm hopeful that this is going to work. Yeah, share audio is checked. We're good to go. So let's hear from a witness, one of the women. And that's terrible. These kind ladies, right? They were like, oh, no, he has stage 4 cancer. He's going to die in a few months. Let's do a fundraiser and raise money for him. Nice people getting taken advantage of by a slime ball that would pretend to have terminal cancer to steal money from people.
Lionsground.com.
Oh, and I just want to mention, I want to apologize for this podcast because I don't know why, but every few minutes that they blast over the podcast, lionsground.com. I guess they really want you to visit there. So, my apologies for that. And this, of course, is this person calling the witness.
Hello, this is Heathcliff. I'm looking for Wanda Spudik.
This is Wanda. What can I do for you?
Hello, I'm Heathcliff of Lions Ground calling from Spain. I'm investigating a man named Kyle Aloha. And according to a news article, you have did a fundraising on November 18th, 2011. He was diagnosed for brain tumor. Is that true? Because based on his criminal record, he has a lot of, you say that? Issues. So I want to know if that's true, if he had that disease, yes or no.
By the way, this person, UFO Proof, has an extensive criminal background, multiple arrests and convictions. That's right. This guy, UFO Proof, the guy that's going to bring us the truth about aliens, is a multiple convicted criminal.
So
besides faking terminal cancer to steal money from kind people, he's also a convicted criminal.
Is he in Spain?
No, he's still in. He's now active on YouTube, and he is now asking money online. And I was a little bit skeptical, so I did a background check. Found out that he has over 10 to 20 criminal files on him, records.
There we go. So UFO proof. What a great vetting job Third Phase of Moon did before they ran with this story. The source of Third Phase of Moon's story that they ran with has 10 to 20 criminal files in his background. Great job vetting this, Third Phase of Moon. Great job running with the story.
So I want to know if you have any news about if it's true. Did he really had brain cancer?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of hard for me to say because Kelly and I were put in a very bad predicament because Kyle was a friend of ours, and yes, he worked at a local place that we are very familiar with. We know the owners, and he was having episodes. I mean, he was passing out, and he was dizzy, and he told us that he'd gone to the doctor, and this was the case, that he had stage 4 glioblastoma brain cancer, and Kelly and I put a benefit on for him.
Yeah, so these nice ladies knew this guy. He was passing out at work. It turns out that was probably drug related, but these nice ladies run a cancer benefit for him, thinking that he's telling them the truth, that he's got terminal brain cancer and he's going to die any month now.
And raised over $3,000 for him. And he took that money and left the state. And as far as we know, he's alive and well.
Yes, correct. He's alive and well.
Yes. So he tells them that he has terminal brain cancer. They run a benefit for him. He takes the money and runs to another state, and we know that he's still alive today. So this is great.
We don't believe it. No, because if you know anything about glioblastoma, I had a very good friend that just died from it after about 85 days later after being diagnosed, and he was perfectly fine. So.
Yes, and the oncologist that I talked to today that told me that most people die from this terminal cancer within, very short time after a diagnosis. By the time they detect it, and this is an inoperable brain cancer in which cancer surrounds all the organ of the brain, they can't cut it out, and other forms of traditional cancer treatments are very ineffective against this particular form of cancer. It's almost always fatal. There is a very tiny percentage of people who get a diagnosis that live through it.
As far as I know, that is a bunch of bullshit. He was not diagnosed with that, but we believed him to be diagnosed, and we raised quite a bit of money for him, and it was a huge embarrassment for us. I mean, we feel terrible about everybody we asked for money for. It was awful. We feel bad that we got ripped off, basically.
I understand. Yeah, that's my first intuition, but I need someone to confirm, and you confirmed it, that he's a rip-off. And how can you do that? Something like that, especially if you have...
I don't know.
So it's not truly...
I don't know how somebody can do that.
I don't know how somebody can do that either. To pretend to have terminal brain cancer. I mean, that's a terrible thing to do. And to take money from all these community members based on false sympathy for you having cancer when you don't apparently have cancer.
I don't understand it.
Lionsground.com. I'm very sorry you have to experience that. Let me tell you this. I'm going to contact Cal, and I also will ask him, request that he pays the money back with the money he earned on YouTube to you, or who is responsible for the fundraising. Are you interested for that?
No, because it was
just to help you out,
Yeah, I for one think that he should be forced to give the money back, or he should do jail time. It's called theft by deception. It is a felony. What he did is called theft by deception. If true that he did not, in fact, have stage 4 brain cancer, if he deceived these people and he accepted the money and ran to another state with it, and by all appearances he did, that is theft by deception. It is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison, depending on just how much money you deceived people out of.
No, I'm not interested in getting the money back simply because it didn't cost Kelly and I anything out of our pocket other than just time and effort.
I think she should make him give the money back and give it to a cancer charity. That's what I think.
Came out of the pocket.
I think it's a bad idea to just let the guy keep the money. Anyway.
Everybody that donated, and at this point in time, I don't remember who they are.
Oh wow!
It was such a embarrassment for us because.
Yeah, you ever been to a cancer benefit? Sometimes there's 100 or 200 people at a cancer benefit. You know, like I've been to beef and beers that were a cancer benefit. You know, you pay your $20, you get a roast beef sandwich and some beers, and there's 100 or 200 people contributing. So how would they even give the money back to all the victims of this man? You know, that's going to be a really difficult thing to try to track everybody down and give them their $10 or $20 back.
We've done benefits for other people who really are needy, and for him to do what he did, it was embarrassing and uncomfortable and made us look bad.
Lionsground.com.
And again, how can you do something like that to other people? So I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm terribly sorry, and thank you for the information. And well, let Karma deal with him. Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.
Good day. Bye.
Lion.
All right. So there we have it, friend. There's one of the witnesses who claimed that this person, UFO Proof, faked terminal cancer, took the money and ran. But we've got a longer one. We've got a longer phone call with the other woman who ran that cancer benefit for Kyle. And again, we're going to cite fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. We are discussing and critiquing the material that we are sharing. This is certainly covered under fair use, and we will cite fair use as we share this material. All right. I've got this one queued up a little bit. This one's like 30 minutes long. I'm not sure how much of this we're going to play. I will be linking both. I will be linking the links to this in the About section. They're not there yet. I'm a terrible show host. We kind of had a rush today, so you'll have to forgive me. I promise I will be putting the links to the evidence we are sharing in the About section of our video here shortly after we end the broadcast.
Living in space.
Lionsground.com.
But I realize you're calling from Spain, but what company are you calling from, or are you just an individual?
Individual, yes. The reason I'm so concerned about this is that my cousin died recently of cancer, and I got the impression that he misused people's faith for his own benefit. I have also talked with what's her name? Let me see her name. Yes, Wanda Spudik. And she explained me the other part of the story, that he is full of shit.
That would be my assumption too. It's too for this being taken off guard. Throughout time, I had tried to do different events, in good faith for people, that were hurting, and here's a guy who's been was a friend of mine for a while, and I see him having seizures and all these different things that go on, and he says to me, Kelly, I have stage 4 glioblastoma. Well, when I did some research on this, I found out that it was pretty without treatment. The prognosis was zero. Zero. So
yeah, chance of survival for most people that get that diagnosis are zero. And we have On the Rise. He is On the Rise is pointing out and kindly assisted in our Discord server. I want to remind everybody that we have a Discord server, and it's called Truthseekers with an S. I'm just one of us here. We have a whole team of people who are helping us to research things, vet people, find out if they're credible or honest or trustworthy. It's not just me. So I want to recognize those people in our Discord server who are continually helping me to find materials and to share those materials here on the show. And On the Rise sent me some material which we are going to be sharing, because apparently this person, Kyle, also known as UFO Proof on YouTube, is constantly begging for money for all kinds of stuff. He needs gas money. He needs money for this. He needs money for that. Please donate. Please help me out. I really need your help. He is constantly begging for money for all kinds of things on his YouTube channel. Kind of like how he got money for faking terminal cancer. Leopards don't change their spots.
I thought, well, my gosh, he has no resources, no money. And so we put together this huge benefit. Now, I've directed several benefits. I'll say that much. And one helped me. One is a great lady. She helped me. And then I come to find out that this might not be what's true. Now I haven't seen Kyle probably since about 3 to 4 weeks after that benefit at all. So I don't know if he is dead, if he is, but I would agree with Wanda. We believe it to be bullshit.
There we go. So we've got 2 witnesses who ran a cancer benefit for Mr. Kyle, UFO Proof, who claimed that he had stage 4 brain cancer and was terminally ill. Both of them saying that they believe he did not have cancer and that he scammed both these ladies and his entire community out of money. Now, it's important to note that this fundraiser raised over $4,000 for him. And at $10 a piece for tickets, that would have to mean, plus they had some raffles and things, but that would have to mean that hundreds of people in his community turned out, gave their $10 to help him with his terminal illness that the organizers of the event later would come to believe was a scam.
He's still alive.
I don't know.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He's looking very healthy and is still asking for money online. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. So even after apparently deceiving these women and taking over $4,000 they raised for him, he's still on the internet asking for money for various other things, preying on people's sympathy. I suppose, pardon me, I suppose he learned that if you just get people to feel sorry for you, they will give you money. And we heard that Kyle here, UFO Proof, has 10 to 20 criminal files.
Donations.
Wow.
Yeah. So the article
wow.
is the news article is written based on a fact, I suppose, because he was diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma. You explained why you thought he had, but somebody said he had 8 months to live. Who said that?
Oh yeah, when you have stage 4 cancer in the brain, and you're not even seeking any treatment, you're not going to live. It's just that simple. That was the last benefit I ever directed, because I was pretty upset, as you can imagine, to find out that this possibly could be bullshit. It's with all of my good resources that I had throughout the past 5 years. I mean, we did a veterans benefit. I conducted another benefit for a friend who had died in honor of his children. I mean, and I go to the same resources that I always do.
Yeah, and a real shame here is that we can tell, you hear this woman, she's run multiple benefits in her community for people. She sounds like somebody that really wants to help people. And in hearing this, when I first heard this, I felt really sad for her that she was victimized like this, because she sounds like somebody that I sure would want in my community, helping veterans, helping terminal cancer patients, running these benefits. And ask anybody that's ever run a big benefit. It's a lot of time, energy, and passion that you need to put in, right?
After that, it just put a bad taste in my mouth, and I never did anything ever again.
Yeah, and see, that's a shame, because all those people that she was helping because of this soured her, pissed her off, and I guess, she felt scorned and said, I'm not going to run benefits anymore because I could get scammed.
I understand. Yeah. So he has seizures, but he never showed you any documents that he went to the hospital.
Never.
To the doctor.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, in retrospect, those seizures could have been anything, or they could have just been fake, but I don't know. What really set me off that something was not correct was I had a friend of mine owned a fireworks store, a long-term friend, and I asked him if he would make a donation to the benefit. And of course, he said, "Of course, Kelly, I will do that." Well, he made a $500 gift card out.
Yeah.
Now, I've learned that during benefits, you can't just leave a $500 gift card out on the table to be bid on, because people might steal it. You just never know. So
this is where the story gets even more disgusting and more deplorable. Now, remember, according to these women, they were scammed by a man claiming to have terminal brain cancer. They ran a benefit. They raised over $4,000 and gave him $4,000. But what did he do at the cancer benefit? She's going to tell this story that there was a $500 gift card donated by the restaurant that the benefit was held at. The restaurant that the benefit was held at gave these women who were running the benefit a $500 gift card that they could raffle off. They put it out on a table with the raffle tickets, etc. But she was concerned. You don't want to put a $500 gift card out on the table. So she puts a fake gift card out on the table. Let's find out what Kyle UFO Proof did when he realized that there was a $500 gift card laying on a table, or he thought there was a $500 gift card laying out on a table at his own cancer benefit.
What I did was put a mock card out, and then I kept the real one in the office. Well, it just so happened that he got a hold of the person that had won that $500 gift card, gave it to him. So he had that $500 gift card, and then he took the $500 mock card and tried to use it, sell it to someone, and they tried to go use it. And my friend of the store said, "Hey, wait a second, this isn't even real." And that's when things started to really become unraveled.
Wow, friends. So these nice ladies think this man has terminal cancer. They run a benefit for him. They give him $4,000 from the benefit. Then a kind person with a business gives the ladies running the benefit a $500 gift card. They raffle off the $500 gift card. The person who won the $500 gift card, again, I suppose, felt sorry for Kyle UFO Proof, who apparently was dying of terminal cancer. So that person gives Kyle the $500 gift card. Now we're up to $4,500 in ill-gotten gains. But that wasn't enough for Kyle UFO Proof, because apparently Kyle UFO Proof stole the display gift card that had $0 on it and then sold that gift card to somebody else. This is disgusting.
Yeah, this is, you do something in good faith, and then, it's just, I'd be very interested to see what he's posting. Because this benefit was, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I'd say.
Well, he claims that he has currently, right now, cancer, and he's going to the oncologist to get a medical record.
So 5-6 years later, he's claiming he has cancer again, and I would be interested in seeing the medical records. Maybe he should release the medical records and prove these witnesses wrong. That would be good. So we challenge him to release his medical records And don't dare try, Kyle UFO Proof, to give us fake medical records, because I'll call whoever issues the medical records to verify that they are true and accurate records. Did you have stage 4 cancer when these people ran the benefit?
You know what was odd to me, and this was a red flag for me, was we had told, everybody that was at the benefit knows me and knows that I organize these types of events, and I have a lot. You have a lot of a support team involved, of course, but I am the director, so what really was a red flag to me was when none of his family in this area came. I thought, my gosh, if I'm a sister or, an uncle or an aunt or something,
Lionsground.com.
and my nephew has glioblastoma, which I did, I even went so far as to contact a neurosurgeon and ask him, what can we do? That neurosurgeon told me without treatment, any kind of chemotherapy or radiation treatment, that he would never survive, period.
Yeah, so that is a red flag. Somebody's got cancer and the whole community is coming together for cancer benefit for him and not one of his family members show up. That is a red flag.
And so the very fact that he's alive and still doing this tells me, yeah.
Yeah, I've got also evidence that he also acknowledged that he was on stage at the end of 2011.
Lionsground.com.
Well, if you have glioblastoma, I did my research too, you're unable to work because your brain is not working properly anymore. You're dizzy, you forget your memories, things like that. So he was unable to do any stand-up comedian.
So while he's supposed to be dying of cancer, he's doing stand-up comedy. Awesome.
Well, he was fired from that venue at the Radissons, I later learned.
Oh.
So it wasn't right. I was an employee at the Radisson at that time.
Why is he fired?
I'm not sure. They're not allowed to tell me the reasons as to why he was not. He was what they would call their. He wasn't a comedian there. He was their opening guy who would come out and introduce the comedians.
Oh.
I can't remember what the name of that was, but he was terminated.
That's generally called an MC.
They're not allowed to tell me the events surrounding his termination, as just to say that he is no longer welcome here. And
so not only fired, not welcome in their building or hotel anymore.
Kyle.
Okay, that's for a very good reason, huh?
Lionsground.com.
There's something not right. I don't, but when you're talking about employment, and a company like that's owned by a white lodging, they're not going to diverge, that kind of personal information. It's just a liability. So I never really knew what happened. A very good person to talk to about this, and would be able to tell you the very truth during that time is Linda Magar. I don't know if you are able to see my friends list on my Facebook. She was his current girlfriend and a long-term friend of mine, and she, I believe, may have known something then that we didn't know.
Okay, so you never talked with her about it.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, girlfriends usually know what's going on, and I would assume that his girlfriend would know if he was actually terminally ill or not.
I'm sorry?
You never talked with her about this.
I did. I said, Linda, after the benefit, well, first of all, one thing that didn't sit right with me was I originally set this up for the Make-A-Wish Foundation and Kyle.
Yeah.
And then we had to later change the venue because Kyle was upset that no one's coming here for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I said, oh, that's fine, Kyle. I said, we will change the venue. I said, but it just struck me as unusual that she would argue or contest the idea of helping children who are dying.
Mm-hmm.
That just seemed odd to me. I mean, but when you have brain cancer.
So he refused to help children?
Yeah, well, he was upset with me that I was going to put part of the proceeds towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
This is great. So the organizer of the cancer benefit event was going to split the proceeds between Kyle and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And Kyle didn't want them to give any money to those dying children. He wanted to keep all the money for himself. Kyle, UFO Proof, who stole a gift card from his own cancer benefit, told the organizers, hey, I don't want you giving a portion of the proceeds of my cancer benefit to those dying children.
That's weird.
Yes. I find that odd. I mean, I really don't. In all due respect, Wanda had called me about a week ago. We haven't spoke for a while, and I now I know why she called, and it must have been you. Are you an investigator of some sort, or are you just someone who is reading this article? I'm confused.
Well, I'm a news publisher. My news publishing company's name is Lions Ground. I was a friend of Cal until I had a disagreement with something he posted on YouTube, and things started rolling from there. And now there are 4 people involved.
Lionsground.com.
Me, I'm the key person behind this, and 3 former soldiers who are.
I'd be interested to see what the disagreement was about and whether it was over some form of money or another scam, Who
are now investigating his background. His background seems to match the reason why he felt ill. He used, according to the police documents, he used drugs. He was on drugs. They took.
I believe that.
Yeah, and that's maybe the cause why he felt dizzy, not feeling good, and things like that. If someone is ill, has cancer or whatever, you will have a paper from the hospital or the doctor at least.
Of course, there would be medical records. You would get paperwork about your diagnosis of terminal cancer.
Not only to show it to some people, but also for insurance issues.
Right.
Lionsground.com.
With Linda, his girlfriend at the time, had been a very, very best a friend of mine. I had no reason to believe that he was a liar, and because I thought at that time would have told me that he's a liar, and it was just very unsettling. Gosh, we raised. I gave Kyle myself that very night, or it was the next morning, because you have you just don't know what you've made until the end. I made thousands of dollars in cash.
Yeah.
All sorts of different gift cards, different donations that.
Yeah. So the entire community comes together with gift cards and raffles, and people are donating, products that they could raffle off to try to raise additional funds. And Kyle took that and went to another state.
That had been given through the community, through friends who knew me, who knew Kyle, who knew I held the event at my place of employment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never brought it up again because, frankly, if I ever wanted to help be a community organizer again, I felt that it would ruin any chances I could have of helping anyone that really needed it.
Yep. And how much money did he left? Because he left with the money. Yeah? He left state with the money. And do you know how much it was?
It was $4,000.
$4,000
easily in cash.
Wow.
In cash.
Do you have that documented? Do you have it on paper that you have raised money?
We didn't.
Oh, okay.
We didn't. I didn't, because now there was some documentation, very little though, because people just gave me the money and said, we trust you. We'll do what's appropriate.
Yep.
If this is a crime on his behalf, I would have to think that it is.
It is.
He's lionsground.com.
He left money with money.
Yeah, and if he truly deceived these people into believing that he had terminal cancer when he did not, again, I have a family friend who's in law enforcement. He told me that would be considered theft by deception, which is a class 1 felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, or even more, depending on the judge and how much money you stole when you deceived people in a manner like this. So it's definitely a criminal act.
On the false.
But he may never have been prosecuted for this because he left to another state. It's kind of hard to prosecute someone for a crime when they flee to another state.
Circumstances, and the money is meant for a purpose, a cause, and he left the money while he didn't have the glioblastoma.
Hold on, what's that? What?
So he left them. He left money. Yeah, well, he gave you the impression that he had a short time to live, glioblastoma, and that's the reason you have raised the money. So he, on the false circumstances, he gave you the impression that he was sick because of that.
What was the nature of your relationship with him? How did you meet him, and how did this? What was the nature of this YouTube video? I guess is my question to you.
Well, Kyle is doing UFO videos. He makes videos about UFO.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt that's our Kyle, UFO proof.
I think that's obvious.
Okay. No. So this way I get in contact with him, and throughout the years, well, a couple of years.
Lionsground.com.
We did some things together. Not much, but we had a positive relationship, a friendly relationship. Let's keep it on that. And one day he collaborated with a YouTube channel, which is known as a hoaxer, someone who published disinformation on the internet.
Oh, wow. Who would that be? So Third Phase of Moon has a long-standing relationship with UFO Kyle, who is allegedly or apparently pretending to have terminal cancer and taking some $4,000 from the kind people in his community.
And so I was questioning about his action. Why would you collaborate with hoaxers for the money? Because they have about 400,000 subscribers, the publicity. So he did an interview with them live. It took about 1 hour, and he didn't ask critical questions because his function, his role on YouTube is debunker. Debunking false
Lionsground.
I love that he's a debunker, and he just got caught selling a completely and totally fake story in the form of this S4. He's not a debunker, friends. He's a hoaxer.
On the internet concerning UFOs. And he didn't ask any critical questions. So my followers asked me, what do you think about the interview? Now, well, after a couple of times receiving that same question, I decided to do a video about it. And but apparently, Kyle don't like criticism.
Yeah, he doesn't like criticism, as evidenced by the fact that he went on Goofon's show last night and cried about me and how wrong I was about his fake nothing burger story for 2 hours.
What he did is he attacked me. He attacked me on my looks, the way I talk.
I see.
And things like that. And I find it a very remarkable behavior for a debunker. Why he isn't going into my allegations, but just ridiculing people. And that's the reason I started to investigate it in him and invited a few people I know. And well, within 1 day we had bingo. Due to the fact that my cousin not long ago died of cancer.
Yeah, so the person that conducted this interview was apparently pissed off for multiple reasons, one of which he had a cousin that was just died of cancer and also being attacked by Kyle UFO Proof here.
Makes this also
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, a personal issue. What I don't like is that people are suffering around the world with the disease, and he misused that situation, which is actually meant for people who are now struggling with cancer, and
I agree.
He shamelessly still continues asking for money.
Oh my gosh.
Asking for money, pointing fingers on people that they are fake, that they are fraud, while he is the only person, the number one person, what I know now, that he is the number one person fraud ever.
Yeah, that's great. So he's pointing fingers at all the fakers and fraudsters while he's pushing fake nothing burger stories and constantly begging for money and playing on people's sympathy. And we've got some videos of him doing that, which we will share.
Hoaxer. I never met any person like him, especially with your information and of Wanda. He is sick, mentally sick.
That is astounding. You know, there was many people involved in this benefit, and the reason I found out that he had misused even the gift card was because the owner of the business called me and said, "Hey, we have a problem here." This was probably several months down the road because he sort of just disappeared. You know, and
after he got the money, he disappeared and fled to another state, which is what all terminal cancer patients do.
I found that unusual because, you know, I would ask Linda, I'd say, "Hey, you know, Linda, where is he?" She goes, "I don't know. He moved out. I think he's in Arizona or something." I never really got a straightforward answer about anything, you know, and I was sort of left to my own devices as to what might have happened to him. And it really put a bad taste in my mouth. The owner of the restaurant that I held the benefit for said, "You know what? I don't believe that this was the actual circumstances." And I had a co-director on this, Omar Napa. He assisted me and pretty much supported me through this. And he did talk to Kyle after this event, and he was not happy. That would be an understatement. You know, I certainly, you know, if there's any way that I can help you in respect to stopping this behavior, I'm for that. But I certainly have some concerns about myself being. I don't want to incriminate myself for trying to do something that was in my own good nature. Do you see what I'm saying? I hate to think that I can never help my community ever again because one guy is a liar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, again, the unfortunate part is that both of these women have previously run benefits for people in need, and they're not going to do it anymore because they're afraid they're going to get conned or scammed again, thanks to Kyle UFO Proof.
Oh yeah. And so now the problem is that that makes me sick. That a lot of people dislike what he did, but there are still a bunch of people keep supporting him, and that makes me wonder if you know that his background is
Lionsground.com.
He stole the money, he faked his cancer, and yet still continues to ask for donations. What he's doing right now, I don't understand. But if
how can I help you? I guess is my how can I help you? In sort of debunking this, how can we?
Well,
what do
I can't access his medical records. That's something private, right, in America?
If there are any.
Right.
Sorry, I got it. I got it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, UFO Anonymous. I don't believe that I don't believe that that's character, that I'm attacking his character. I believe that I am letting people know that he is not a credible source of information based on this information that I found, and also based on the information that he has a long list of criminal convictions for victimizing people. So, and if you do want to check out our show from last night, I don't believe I attacked his character at all. I believe that I attacked his information as being less than credible. But everybody is free to make their own determination. If this is character assassination, bringing people the truth about a source of information, you know, this is the way things are, right? I'm telling you the truth about him, and people are saying I'm attacking his character. And he said I attacked his character last night on another show, when all I did was say that the story that he was peddling was a nothing burger and a fake story.
Right.
I can send you some links where you can look into his criminal records. He also has a large debt at the hospital. I need to know why at that hospital, why he has debts at that hospital, for what reason he went to the hospital, for his drugs addict or drugs use or other reasons, or did he have cancer? We don't know.
My guess is this was a drug issue. Given all the circumstances of this, I do know that he did have a drug problem before, which he was very open about with me. He didn't try to hide that. But
so apparently he has drug problems along with all the other things going on. And this I find interesting. Brandy Phillips said that Rich from Goofon said that he would not have anyone with a criminal record on his show. Well, it appears that his vetting skills must be terrible, because I got to tell you, this information is out there. It was very easy to find. And it's also important to note that I had this information from the start of this story and knew about this. But I let people go, let people talk, let people do what they're going to do. And then I'll bring people the information that I have. So thank you, Brandy Phillips, for letting me know that. That's interesting. I guess Rich from Goofon already violated his own oath, saying he would not have anyone with a criminal record on his show. Brandy Phillips finds that laughable, and I find it extremely amusing.
You know that he was seeing a methadone clinic in Maryville, Indiana.
Oh, he's going to a methadone clinic, so he has problems with heroin, apparently. I don't know about you, but if you have ever had any experience with opioid addicts or heroin addicts, they don't tend to be trustworthy or people that you could trust. But that's my own opinion.
So that much I do know. But as to that visit, I couldn't tell you.
So you can help him with that, and also talk with his ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Because you know her better than me do, so it's maybe easier for her to talk about it, and maybe in the future she wants to talk with me about it. But it looks like for me better than
Lionsground.com.
And well,
I apologize for that, friends. I've never heard a podcast where they kept putting the .com every few minutes, screaming it. So I apologize for that. I was going to take these and try to edit that stuff, but it's not my material. So I felt like, for fair use purposes, it's best to play it as is.
Documentation is so very important. If you have any documentation, is something in writing, oh yes, forward to me, and we can stop him.
Okay, why don't you do this? Why don't you give me maybe a handful of days?
Yes.
I will contact Linda, and I will also contact the co-director, and we can see what we can put together.
Yes, if you can do that, perfect.
I'm very sorry. That's all I can tell you. It's just disgusting.
By the way, it's recently been uncovered that Kyle was indeed, for a good deal of time, a resident of Nevada. So he would be able to place a fake pin. I'm not saying that he did, but he has that capability while being a Nevada resident. You have to be the resident of the state that you're placing pins in. The jury's still out. Who put those pins there? We don't know. Can you place a pin and call it a government office? Still don't know, but it appears to me that people have been sending me stuff that you can. So it would appear that Third Phase of Moon was incorrect, saying that no one can place a government pin except a government employee. The problem comes that the pin goes up and then just one person needs to report it as inaccurate, another local guide, and then YouTube takes it down and sometimes suspends the account of the person that put it up there. So that's where we're at with that. Thank you, Patrick Sheehan. And I did, listen, I think that we shared all the super chats, but I am going to be reading them all. So thank you all for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. We've got a little bit more of this to go through, and then a video, which we're going to be sharing, of Kyle UFO Proof begging for money for various reasons on his own YouTube channel.
Lionsground.com.
Yeah.
I did one video. I did an opening of people who were getting the treatment, the treatment against cancer. How do you call that? Chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy, yes.
Yeah. From children to adults and people who died. The last words. And his reaction is very sickening. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care, and that's why it's so
no.
and that's the danger. That's why he's so dangerous out there on the internet. Plus, he does.
Yeah, and I would think that somebody that would be willing to fake a terminal cancer and tell people they were dying to steal money, that's certainly criminal behavior, but it's also sociopathic, right? Like you have no regard for other people's feelings or emotions. You're just going to victimize people in this manner.
Does live streams on YouTube, and he attracts all that kind of well, in my opinion, but that's the first impression, and maybe it's wrong to do that, but criminal type of people.
Right.
So,
well, birds of a feather do flock together, don't they? I don't know many criminals that don't also hang out with other criminals. All the criminals I know, I grew up on the mean streets of Philadelphia. I grew up with criminals. I have criminals in my family. My uncles were in and out of jail. My uncles on my mother's side, they were in and out of jail all the time. Members of the pagan motorcycle gang in Philadelphia. And we all know what those guys do, right? Criminals hang out together. That's what they do.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Lionsground.com.
I'm going to give Wanda a call as well. I've known her for a very long time. We're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna go from there because listen, if there's one thing as doing this type of work, you do it out of
Lionsground.com.
trying to make a difference.
Yeah, what a shame for this woman. She tried to make a difference. She tried to help a person she thought was dying of cancer, and this is what happens.
A positive difference, and I will not have that undermined by someone who is just taking advantage of people's generosity. We had a very good turnout for him, even in the small community that we live in, and it was really upsetting to think that this possibility was. I never could reach him ever again. He had blocked me on Facebook. I wasn't able to ever talk to him ever again.
Wow, there's another indicator that this was indeed a deceptive Kyle UFO Proof. Because after these kind women organized a cancer benefit for him, and then he stole a gift card from his own cancer benefit and tried to sell it to somebody, then what does he do? He goes to another state with the $4,000, and then when these women who ran this cancer benefit for him try to contact him, what does he do? He blocks them both on Facebook. Why would you block people on Facebook who ran a cancer benefit for you and gave you $4,000 to help with your end of life expenses? Who would do that, friends?
Okay. Now, make a screenshot of that too, that he blocked you. Everything that can be used, you need to take a copy of that. Make a screenshot by using print screen, open Paint, and paste it, and you have a copy of that. Everything is very important. Yes. Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, give me a call if you would, please.
Sure.
You know, maybe 4 or 5 days. I'll see what I can do, and I can see what I can get to you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah, well, it means a lot to me. And
you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
You as well.
All right, friends. So there we have it. The 2 witnesses from the cancer benefit run for Kyle UFO Proof, who say that not only do they both believe that he didn't have stage 4 cancer as he told them, but that he stole a gift card from his own cancer benefit and tried to sell it to somebody. Then, when these nice ladies try to contact him, I suppose, to check in on him and see how he was doing, he blocked them on Facebook. And after he took the $4,000 from these nice ladies who ran a cancer benefit for him, he never spoke to them again. Now, people are sending me all kinds of videos and video clips of him on his YouTube channel begging people for money for various different things. We are going to share just one of those where he's asking for money. I think I have this queued up. 1 second. Yes, I do. And again, we're going to cite fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about this individual. This is, and we'll be discussing it and critiquing it with those people here in our live chat. So this is covered under fair use. I will be critiquing the video that we are sharing. And yeah, so let's get into it. Here's Kyle on his YouTube channel asking people to send him money.
So that fucking, you know, really fucked us. And now,
oh, geez. Thanks for the F-bombs.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Jeez, more.
Asking for help, donations, whatever, to get back. And you can donate to my PayPal. Don't donate to Super Chat because I can't get that money. I have to wait until we get paid by YouTube before I can get that money. So don't Super Chat it, but PayPal it. And I will shout you out in my next video or whatever the fuck you want.
So interestingly, in this video, he claims that he's on the road and he's stranded and he desperately needs money so that he could get his way home. And he's telling people, hurry up and send me PayPal donations because I'm stranded and I need money to get home.
Just write a little note with the PayPal asking what you want or, you know, telling me what you want. I will handle that shit as usual, like I always do.
Do you know how to catch?
Oh. Sorry, friends. 1 second. One second, friends. Just bear with me. All right. Let me share it again. Sorry about that. Well, this is Kyle UFO Proof begging people for money, claiming that he's on the road and he's stranded and he desperately needs gas money to get home.
Anytime someone, you know, whether they're donating or not, but if they just message me and they're like, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? I'm always like, yes. You know, I love helping other people, working out with other people, you know, collabing on stuff or doing favors for everybody on YouTube and helping other channels, you know, start off and shit. Because, you know, I had to have someone help me. So, or, you know, people helped me, which was great. Andromeda's dying. How do you get there in the first place? Plane, train, automobile, flying saucer? Do you just need money for fuel? How far do you have to drive? Fussy Pup, I drove 10 hours. I'm about a 10-hour drive from where I was in Arizona.
Yeah, so again, he's claiming that he's stranded somewhere and he needs gas money to get home. And by the way, it's important to note that at the beginning of this video, he holds up a baby before he starts asking for donations and money so that he could get home.
She okay? So yeah,
10-hour drive. But if you guys saw my truck last night, what up, Dinkum? Hey, what up, baby? What up, Lydia? How you doing? Sure you can still see my screen. I'm gonna show you guys my awesome truck. Hang on.
You know, I'm not going to play any more of this. It's important to note that he holds up a baby at the beginning of this video where he's telling everybody that apparently he and his family are stranded and his truck needs a lot of work and they're trying to get home, and could you please donate money to them? Now, people can make whatever decision they want about him doing that or whether that was a valid need. Was he really in need or not? And people have the right to decide on what they think about his character after this cancer benefit and the witnesses believing that he never had cancer and that he stole a gift card from his own cancer benefit, and then he ghosted the women who ran the cancer benefit. And here we have him holding up a baby, claiming to be stranded, and he desperately needs money to get home. Please send him PayPal money. I think that we have said what we need to say. Now, I started this broadcast talking about the importance of credibility in a story and the importance of vetting guests. What we have seen this week is that some people don't care about the credibility of the witness bringing them a UFO or alien story. Some people don't care about the honesty and integrity of the witness in the case. As long as they can sell the story, they're good with it. And I got to say that this whole situation this week has made me sad, because I've been sitting on this information and I have much, much more, including the criminal records of this person. And I got to say, going over the criminal records of this person, it appears to be a long-standing pattern of abusing people, manipulating people, and taking advantage of people. So myself, I wouldn't be surprised about anything that he does going forward to tell people that he needs money for. Having seen those criminal records, having done the vetting that the people that were pushing his UFO alien story, which, by the way, the story on its own is a nothing burger. The story that these channels were pushing and selling as true is garbage, even without this information that we're presenting to you today. But when you add on top of the fact that the story that they're peddling and selling falls apart like a house of cards under the least little bit of scrutiny, when we add the character of this witness and the criminal history of this witness and his constant begging for money, I mean, holding a baby up, telling people, we're stranded, we really need money. Does this sound like a credible person to you that you should believe when he starts telling fantastical stories about UFOs or aliens? To me, it's case closed on this story. And I could say a lot about the people who were pushing this story. I could say a lot about other show hosts letting this man come on their show and trash me for 2 hours straight. My credibility is not in question here. I'm not selling a fake story about aliens. I don't have a criminal history. I have a clear criminal record. I don't have these issues. So my credibility was getting attacked by this person. You know, those who live in glass houses really should not throw stones. And I want to be very clear here in that I take no pleasure in bringing people the truth about this man. You know, I kind of think that this whole thing makes me sad, because, you know, sometimes you get to find out who your real friends are in situations. And I'm thankful for that. I want to know what kind of person a person claiming to be my friend really is. And I want to know what they're willing to do, right? Do you got my back, or do you have a scammer's back? Have I lied to you? Have I deceived you? Have I scammed you out of money? Have I sold you a fake story? I don't know what else I could say about this, except, again, we're going to return to the story that he was peddling falls apart completely under scrutiny. And I want to thank Jeremy Rise, alien scientist, for trying to bring people the truth like I did. This story comes out and everybody's jumping all over it trying to sell it. And I can only think of me and Jeremy, maybe some others, but largely Jeremy and I did the work to show you that this story is absolutely a nothing burger. And I'm sure that Jeremy's going to continue. I heard his show today. Please check him out. Check out his show today. He said the investigation continues. For me, I don't think I have much left to investigate here. I think that we have proven our case that some less than credible people will run with any story, will run with any source. I have seen people in the UFO community run with a story from child molesters. I have seen people run with a story from murderers. I have seen people run with a story from convicted criminals convicted of fraud-related charges who are right now selling fake medical devices and running charity scams. I have seen people do disgusting things, and mostly I am disgusted about this whole topic and this whole so-called community. It's not a community. I've said it time and time again. It's not a community. It is a bunch of predators and a bunch of victims. Which one are you? Now, along with the bad, I have to recognize that there are some incredible good people here that are interested in these topics. And as I mentioned previously, there is a growing chorus of us who are sick of this shit. And it's time to clean house. If someone knowingly, willingly, and deliberately runs with a story from a source like this, I think that we should all vote with our attention. After all of us now live in an attention-based economy. The more attention you get, the more money you make, apparently. But what some people are willing to do to get that attention, those clicks and views, is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, disgusting to me. And this week, I got to sit there and listen to people justify working with criminals to sell their UFO truth. I got to sit here and listen to people make excuses for pumping hundreds of fake UFO videos out into the ether, into the internet, and muddy the waters of serious research. People who have profited for years and years and years selling shit they knew was fake, or using sources like this to sell another story. How many stories are you going to sell that fall apart under scrutiny? And this repeating pattern comes back time and time and time again. And here's the pattern. Run with a fake story or run with a source that is really shitty. Oh my God, should anybody look into this source? This guy is a fucking slime ball. But let's run with the story, sell the story, and then we scurry away and pretend we didn't know about all this. Pretend we didn't know that we were using criminals for sources. Pretend we didn't know that this guy is a slime ball that you shouldn't trust with anything, let alone whether he's truthful or responsible or honest or trustworthy. But this is where we're at, friends, and this is where we find ourselves. So we're going to take a short break, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to read all these super chats. And I've seen a bunch of them come in. I want to thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, every single one of you. I'm going to remind everybody that we're a viewer-supported show. And I feel like I'm running a marathon with 2 broken legs. So I need your support because I can't use criminals for sources, for stories. I have to vet people. And it appears that my competition doesn't have to do that or thinks they don't have to do that. The truth matters. And if you're telling me a true story, but the true story comes from a guy like this, I'll pass. And so should you, my friends. So I appreciate the support. And you can support better journalism here. You can support better investigative work here. Most of these people, they don't investigate anything. You got a UFO or alien story? Come on in and tell us about it. Who cares if you're a criminal? Who cares if you're a pedophile or kitty porn collector? Who cares? We can't do that here. Kind of goes against our brand, right? I'm seeking the truth. I may make mistakes. That's another thing. That's another part of the pattern. These guys get caught. We just caught these idiots with their pants down, running with a story, a fantastical story from a guy whose credibility is in the goddamn gutter, right? We just caught them with their pants down. Are they going to apologize? Are they going to tell their audience, gee, we screwed up on that one. We shouldn't have brought you that story, because it turns out that guy has zero credibility, is not somebody we should trust about anything. Are they going to comment on this? Are they going to apologize to their audience? Are people going to apologize to me for vilifying me, for dragging me through the mud like I'm the bad guy here? Because I said the story was a nothing burger fake story. And people think it's okay. Attack him. Tell everybody he's full of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the whole time, I'm sitting on all this information, laughing at these idiots, too stupid to know that I had this information already at the start of this shit show. Now, my friends, we will take a short musical break. And when I return, we're going to read every one of those super chats. I mentioned you can support us in several ways. You can join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. We give extra content to the Patreon supporters. I give my music to the Patreon supporters. We've got new mind hack projects coming up. And we'll all be on Patreon, included in your kind and generous Patreon benefits. And then it gets made public. We do Patreon-only streams, and we're doing extra content just for the Patreon supporters. You can send me a PayPal donation. Please do add a note with your chat room user ID and any message you want me to shout out. And finally, there's those wonderful super chats. There's that money button. You want to support good investigative journalism work, not this garbage that all these other people are peddling. Do you want to support good investigative journalism work? Please, I need your support to continue this, because I'm running a marathon with 2 broken legs, because I can't lie to my audience. I can't sell fake shit. I can't use rapists and murderers and criminals and drug addicts and people who pretend to have terminal cancer to steal $4,000. I can't use sources like that. So my work takes time, energy, passion, and intellect. And that is worth something. These garbage peddlers have had their day. No more passes. No one gets a pass anymore. And some people know who I'm talking to. If you're going to take all the benefit of your slimy association, let's get the clicks and views. Who cares if these people I'm working with are criminals? Or who cares if these people that I'm working with are known hoaxers shoveling disinformation, garbage shit videos that are fake to the public for years? I'm just going to take all the benefit, and I'm not going to have to deal with any of the downside. That time is over. No one gets a pass, especially from me, anymore. That time is over. So I appreciate all of the kindness, the generosity, and the support, because keeping this thing going takes time, energy, and it takes resources. And I have been very blessed, and I am blessed, and I will continue to be blessed by all of you kind and generous people all over the world who care about this subject. And are tired of these garbage peddlers, and they want to see somebody that does good work. I stand by the work that we do here. And sure, I've got my critics. And sure, I may get some things wrong, but I'll apologize for it. And I'm sure that my critics have plenty of things to say, but no one is bringing you these exclusive stories like we do here. How many stories that nobody else had did we break and bring to you here? I'm not just sitting here playing everybody else's shit talking about it. We do the work that others won't do. That's one of the reasons for our success here. We got a bunch of lazy slobs to just say, don't do work. Don't actually work on a story. Don't vet sources. That takes time. Just run with garbage. No, friends, this subject matter needs good investigative journalists, people who are passionate and care about getting to the real truth of these strange and esoteric things and this paranormal phenomenon. And I'm sorry, I just don't see many people doing that work. But I am blessed by a few friends I have left in this thing that I still love, admire, and respect. So we're going to take a short break, musical break, actually, from an old friend of mine. Yeah, we're going to take a short musical break and play you a song from a musical guest, my old friend Jason Paul Elder. And when we return, we're going to read every single super chat and get those comments and questions ready. I'm going to take comments, questions, suggestions for new shows, new topics. It's time. Put your questions for me in all capital letters. And if you're kind and you're feeling generous and you want to see this good kind of work continue, get your super chats ready because we're going to read every single one of them when I return. We'll be right back, friends.
What you need, in finding what you see, I'm hiding all that I'm really made of. But no matter what you see, no one's watching me, at least no one that I'm afraid of. So much about me is wrong, despite of all you keep, despite of all you break, I know that you'll be right at my side, love. I've left no one to call, hurting softly now, the harder you'll fall. So much about me is wrong, as I avoid your plea, serve it with your tea. You'll wonder just when I've had enough. Don't wait too long, dear. I'm not as distant as I may have appeared. So much about me is wrong. Someday your heart may see
Wow. We are back, friends. Welcome back. So we're going to read some super chats. And I want to thank my old friend, Jason Paul Elder, who sometimes watches. And I'm always happy when he watches one of the shows where I use one of his songs. And I was just reminded, it feels like yesterday, believe it or not, that song was recorded in my studio in Philadelphia all the way back in 2005. For those that don't know, I had one of the first really good digital audio studios in Philadelphia, long before most people knew that you could do audio on computers. I was doing it. So we built this studio out of what was at one time a barn, believe it or not. Boy, those were amazing times. And Jason was one of my clients and became a friend of mine, and also helped me with some of my music production. We sort of bartered, like, okay, I'll record some of your songs if you play on some of mine. And yeah, great old friend. I haven't seen him in some time. He's offered to play on some of my new songs, and I'm hopeful that I'll get to see him again soon. Haven't seen you in some time, Jason Paul Elder. Shout out to Jason Paul Elder. So let's do this, friends. We're going to read these. We're going to read all the super chats. And I am reminded, according to StreamYard, that I should be able to scroll all the way back and put them all on the screen. For a while, you could only scroll so far back. And boy, what an active chat we had, and what an incredible audience that we've had tonight. Thank you all for being here for this very important broadcast. I mean, they're all important broadcasts, but this one I think is especially important because it really speaks to the state of the so-called UFO community. And, I think that personally, I think that it's time to clean house. I think it's time. These people have had a nice run. Some of these people have been doing this shit for years, right? And what benefit do they bring? None. Sure benefits them, right? They're all making money. All right, the live chat appears to, I'm trying to scroll all the way back to the beginning of the live chat, and this is turning into a problem. So we're going to table that. And what I'm going to do is share my screen and read them all off. One moment. Okay, and somebody is telling me to check Twitter. So please bear with me. 1 second. 1 second, friends. Just please bear with me. Not quite sure. People are sending me all kinds of stuff right now. So we are going to find the super chats first, and then we're going to read every single super chat. I want to make sure that everybody knows we always read every single super chat. I am really hopeful that our show's going to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, but I hope it never gets so big that I can't possibly read all the super chats. But there are channels that they just have to pick and choose and read just some of them. I hope we'll always be able to read all of the super chats, because you guys are so important to the show here. You really do keep the show going. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we are going to recognize and thank every one of you kind and generous benefactors here. Patrick Sheehan with a kind and generous 1999, who says, Stephen Cambion, Golden Probe winner. Yes, I am. You are doing what desperately needs to be done. Let's end the fraud, lies, scams, and snake oil peddling. These aren't victimless crimes. I feel for Kyle's baby. Yeah, that made me really sad. Really, really sad. Wow. Chris Johansson with a kind and generous super chat of $50 Canadian. So generous of you, Patrick Sheehan, and so generous of you, Chris Johansson. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your continuing support. It means a lot to me to see so many generous people helping us to continue in this important work. Marina Mavroginas with a kind and generous $2 super sticker. Very kind of you, continuing. Remember, Marina, when I couldn't say your name? I used to struggle, but Marina Mavroginas is such a kind and generous supporter, and has always thrown a couple of bucks in the hat here that eventually I got to be able to say her name quite well. Marina Mavroginas. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, your support. And here's Patrick Sheehan again with another kind 10 spot, saying, if third phase won't give their $10,000 challenge money to St. Jude's, set it aside for Kyle's kid. Yeah. Patrick Sheen with another kind and generous 10 spot saying, Stephen, let's challenge Third Phase to donate their silly $10,000 pin challenge to St. Jude's to help kids with cancer. Yeah, I would publicly challenge them to do that. These guys live in Hawaii and they want a History Channel UFO show. Then do what's right. Yeah, karma is the all-powerful equalizer of the universe. And I can't imagine, Patrick Sheehan, that you could pump garbage fake UFO videos for 5 years and then suddenly get offered a television show. But that's just my opinion. Sunrays Homesteader with a kind of generous $5 super chat says, thanks for blowing the top off this fracking scammer. Thank you very much, Sunrays Homesteader. Do you have a homestead, Sunrays? I'm going to check out your channel. You know, I have a cabin and I love homestead kind of stuff. And I'm a big fan of, cabins and off-grid living and homesteading, really trying to learn to be more self-reliant and independent. And maybe you're one of those kind of friends too. Good to see you here. Thank you for your kindness. Space Cow with a kind of generous Canadian, $6.99 says, buy yourself a beer. You earned it. Yes, thank you, Space Cow. I think Space Cow is one of those people that every time they send me a couple of bucks, tell me to buy a beer. I like that. I'm not sure my wife does. I'm trying to cut down. I'm gaining weight, Space Cow, but I will certainly buy myself a beer on you, and I will think of you while I drink it. And all the generous people here, thank you, Space Cow. Scott Hernandez with a kind of generous $4.99 saying, what's up, Cambian? Your channel's starting to blow up. Yay. Yeah, Scott. And you've been with me for a very long time. I'm always happy to see you in the live chat. And thank you so much for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, your continued support, and for being here on our live chat and participating in this great adventure that we're all on together. I always consider this show as a journey, and I get to take you all with me on this journey. We're all in it together. And Scott Hernandez is very generous, always throwing a couple of bucks in our hat. Thanks very much. And then we have Patrick Sheen again with he is the MVP of Super Chatters tonight. Thank you so much for he sent a whole bunch of super chats. Thank you so much, Patrick. A longtime show supporter, continuing supporter, always throwing a couple of bucks in our hat here to help us continue this journey. And I wouldn't want to do it without you, Patrick. Thank you so much. He says, great work, Stephen. This fraud was lying all over GoofOn and called you a dude who resorted to character attacks. We know why now. He was scared to be outed. Yeah, Patrick Sheehan. And by the way, I mentioned I had all this information from the start of this story. I let these clowns talk. I gave enough rope. And boy, they took it more than enough rope, all of them. And maybe that should be a lesson to people. Be careful who you underestimate. Be careful who you tell you're wrong. Be careful who you attack because he's revealing that you're being deceptive and selling fake garbage, because you never know about the capabilities of your adversary. And some adversaries are smart and they hold their cards close to their chest until the time is right to play that hand. And that's what we did here tonight. Thank you so much, Patrick Sheehan, for your kindness, your generosity, and your continued support of the show. I can't tell you, it really does mean a lot to me. Every once in a while, I think about this show. I had a chance to think about this as the new year was approaching, to think about the show, to think about what's going on with the show, to think about the journey of the show so far. You know, we started, nobody was listening. I was a voice in the wind, and we would do live shows and 4 people would show up. And that was rough. That beginning was rough, but I would not trade the journey to get here, right here, for anything in the world. Honestly, I feel like I have done some amazing things in my life, but this is one of the things I am proud of. Many things that I've done in my life, especially my children and my wife. But I'm just incredibly proud of what we have built here, what we've been able to accomplish, starting from nothing, you know. Like, and really, in truth, I started with a $20 microphone and a broken laptop doing audio podcasting, right? And here we are now with this incredible state-of-the-art studio that just keeps getting bigger and better and more advanced and high tech. And this is all thanks to the kindness, generosity, and support. I know you guys know this, but I reinvest every dime that I can. And I, better lights, bigger set pieces. We've got new screens here. We've got better microphones, better headphones, better everything, really. And it's all thanks to the kindness, generosity, and the support of all of you kind and generous benefactors all over the world. I mean, if somebody would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing a show on the internet and people all over the world, people in Australia and England and Canada and the United States and Mexico, all people all over the world, Europe, and all these places would be sending money, right, to the show, I would never have believed them. But this is a viewer supported show, and we're only able to do this thanks to all the kindness, the generosity, and the support of all of you guys. Teamwork makes the dream work, they say, and I can't do this by myself. So I want to thank each and every one of you for helping us to keep the show going. And I got to say, tonight was a bang up night. We got some money in the hat tonight. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. You're watching Truthseekers. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Someday when he's older, not old, I'm going to play those clips for him, and we're going to have a laugh about how he helped me. And I got to say that doing that was fun and gave us something to do together. And people really liked it. People would send some money just to see those clips. So we've got some new clips that we're working on that I'm hopeful we'll be able to bring you soon of our cash clown praising the cash. So we're going to take some comments and questions. We're going to take some comments and questions from the live chat. So if you have any comments or questions for me, please put them in all capital letters. Some of you know I'm visually impaired, which is the reason for the glasses. And you putting it in all caps really helps me. So thank you. Glitch Loop says, we want you back, Goofon. Come back towards the light. I'm not going to comment anymore on Rich from Goofon. I was really pissed off, but I got over it. I kind of run hot and cold, Glitch. Like I'm very easily angered, but then I'm very easy to forgive as well. So I was kind of pissed off, but I kind of got over it. It is what it is. Solar Marshall is saying, Goofon, you need to part from third phase, bro. Well, yeah, Solar Marshall is saying, free Goofon. It is what it is. People are going to, it's like what I was talking about. There's some people want all the benefits, Solar Marshall. Like, give me all the benefit I can get out of this relationship. But I don't want to talk about the shitty side of all this, or the shady side of this, right? But it is what it is. Some people just going to do what they're going to do. Stephen, if you had this info before this all started, why didn't you stop it before now? Well, Dorothy Hawkins, first of all, I have friends that are convicted felons. I used to paint houses, and when I was painting houses, I got to know a lot of criminals, because you can't get a real job most places, but you can paint houses as a criminal, believe it or not. A lot of convicted felons are in home remodeling, because I don't know why. It's just, a lot of people that have criminal pasts end up painting houses or doing carpentry or whatever. And I got to know a lot of them. And I'm sort of a second chance guy. I believe all men deserve a road to redemption. So at first I said, maybe this isn't relevant. Let's see what the story is about. But as the story progressed, it was very clear to me that a large part of this guy's story that Third Phase Moon and other people were peddling as true rested on his credibility. So I was going to run with this. But then when I started seeing what these guys were doing, peddling this stupid story from this guy whose credibility is literally from the gutter, I said, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go. And at first, I wasn't going to air anything about his past. But then I said, I kind of have to. I felt a responsibility to, because the whole story, it really rests on his credibility. Who put the pin in? Who discovered this thing? We don't know. Is this guy credible? And I knew he wasn't having all this information, but once people started attacking me, telling me how wrong I was, I let them talk. And maybe that was the right way to handle this or the wrong way, but I stand by my decision. I stand by the whole run of this story and how we handled it and how we covered it. I stand by my work. Some people may disagree and say I should have just cut it right at the beginning. Maybe. And interestingly, I had some of this information. That's the other thing. I had some of this, but I didn't have all that I have now, including the criminal files and all that stuff. And so slowly I reached out to people that I trust, other investigative journalists and a private investigator friend of mine. And we got literally all the information on this guy. And once I got all the information and read it all, and so I had some of it at the beginning of the story, but really it took some time to get it all together and to get a full picture of just how in the gutter that guy's credibility was. And then we run with it tonight. Glitch Loop says, pimping ain't easy for an electronics repairman. Yeah. Unidentified S4 says you have to stand by your beliefs. Yeah, I agree with you. John P. Adventure says Rich will have his opinion when he knows the truth. Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of backpedaling he does now. Because, this isn't going away. You're going to have to talk about it, right? You're going to have to admit that you didn't vet shit. And you let this clown go on your show and talk shit on me, Rich from Goof On. Maybe you should have done that. But that's just my opinion. And like I said, I was pissed off. I was upset about it. But I'm over it. And I forgive him. And I forgive everybody who has hurt me or offended me or, I grew up Christian. I try to be a Christian. I try to follow Christian ideals. So, the one Christian ideal that I've always had the most problem with, though, is turn the other cheek. Because to me, if somebody smacks you in the face, you don't turn the other cheek. You smack them back, right? But that's not the Christ-like consciousness way to go about life. And I still struggle with that. But I try to forgive people, Two-Leg Cyborg says, yes, under-the-table construction is easy. Realtors always looking for cheap help for their expensive build. Yeah, and, when I painted houses, I was like the boss. But I always had these guys, and some of them were really unreliable. But, boy, there's some characters. We had guys that had criminal histories. Some of them had substance abuse or alcohol problems. One guy used to have to wake up every day. And he'd be like, just knock on the door. I'm like, I did for 10 minutes. You didn't answer. I went to the job without you. And he was pissed off. So then after a while, I learned that I had to knock on his door like a cop for 20 minutes to wake him up because he was hungover. Then I'd have to wait in my car for 20 minutes while he got his shit together and got ready and got in the car to go to the job, the van or whatever, to go to the job site. But I have a great deal of empathy for, and I believe in second chances for people. I wish I road to redemption to all people. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. How about all the positives? Yeah, I agree with you, right? But when somebody when somebody has many criminal convictions, it means they haven't learned their lesson and they keep repeating the same destructive behaviors. At some point, I don't know. I still wish everybody a road to redemption, but some guys are career criminals. They're not going to change. And all you can really do for some people is really avoid them and not let them into your life, right? You know, I mean, I've got, like I said, I'm being very honest here. I got criminals in my family, and some of them you can't have a relationship with. I mean, I had a family member you couldn't let in your house because he would steal from you at a family function. He would be rooting through your drawers for money and shit. You know, some criminals may be beyond redemption. I don't know. All right, so I saw this comment from Patrick Sheehan. Goofon said he doesn't believe Kyle's story. He believes they are water guzzlers for goats. He defended Stephen last night. I must have missed that part. In truth, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I did listen to a large portion of him just sitting there, not asking this guy any hard questions and letting him trash me and tell me how wrong I was about the whole thing. But, you know, I didn't see the whole thing. You know, going forward, I'm going to try to just avoid listening to some show hosts at all. Please put questions in all caps. Oh, and I wanted to announce that tonight we're going to have a Midnight Hour show episode right at 9:30 p.m. So I got to get off of here, or I'm going to be on YouTube twice at the same time, and I've never done that, and I don't want to split the live chat. So tonight we have a classic episode of the Midnight Hour, and it just so worked out that the timing was beautiful because this is my favorite. Tonight is my favorite episode of the Midnight Hour show. For those that don't know, I did an audio podcast called the Midnight Hour Show before Truthseekers, and we're playing once a week a classic episode from that run. And this week is Bob Lazar Bombshells. Bob Lazar debunked and exposed. It's my very favorite episode of the Midnight Hour, and I'm so glad that it just worked out that one came up to put out this week. And it seems appropriate given all this S4 nonsense this week and that garbage story. Yeah, I've noticed that, Wreaking Havoc. And by the way, can you please message me on Facebook? Because I keep forgetting to message you because we want to have you. We very much would like to have you as a guest. Wreaking Havoc says, Goofon plays both sides for his convenience. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. You know, he kind of straddles the fence to see which way should he go. He's very, I mean, I don't want to call him spineless in that way, but, you know, I know a lot of people like that. They don't want to commit, right? He doesn't commit until he's sure who's going to win, right? And that makes him make bad decisions sometimes. But it is what it is. Al Garay says, I will be tuning into the Midnight Hour tonight. Can't wait. Well, you got to come over to YouTube to do that because we don't put the Midnight Hour replay on Twitch. It only goes on YouTube. And by the way, I want to remind everybody, if you're listening in audio podcast land, please do come over to YouTube. Put Truthseekers, one word, in the search bar. Look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses. Smash the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, and you too can come over here and be a part of these amazing live chats we have. We have a great community here of people who really care about these topics, who are very passionate, and I love passionate people, and we've got a lot of them. So please come over to YouTube so that you can take part in the live show, and I need more subscribers. Come on over to YouTube, Truthseekers in the search bar, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please, the other way that you guys can all help me, there's two ways. You can throw money at me. That's always great. But the other way, which is equally important, is please, friends, please like, comment, subscribe, and share on these videos. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Share the video on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Getter. Hey, we're all moving to Getter now, right? Or wherever you are on the internet. Share links to our videos. It really does help because then the web crawlers see all these people sharing the video and we rise in the search engines. More people find us. More people hear about us. More people see our shows. It really does help. So I got to bounce on out of here, friends, because I got to get ready. I'm going to be in the live chat at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in just about 21 minutes for my very favorite episode of the Midnight Hour show. It's called Bob Lazar Bombshells. Bob Lazar Debunked. It's got a lot of great bits in there, a lot of gotcha moments. So if you like these gotcha moments where, you know, yeah, I love gotcha moments. If you like them too, you're going to love this episode tonight of the Midnight Hour show. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Thanks. Spooky is sharing the link to the video right in the live chat. So just click on that and we can keep the party going. and we'll have more content for you in about 21 minutes. So what else can I say about this story? I'm kind of hopeful that I'm done with this story. I think it's run its course. The story itself is garbage. It is a nothing burger story that falls apart like a house of cards. It's not a true story. It's garbage. It's UFO garbage that is being peddled by somebody from the UFO gutter whose credibility is in the sewer. You can't trust somebody to bring you the UFO truth, not a guy like this. And some people may think that's harsh, but we're all entitled to decide who's trustworthy to bring us the truth about UFOs, aliens, or anything for that matter. And I choose not to believe shady criminal people when they're telling me they got the truth about aliens, But it is what it is. And I'm sure we talked about these mental gymnastics that some of these people had to do to sell this story, to make the pieces fit when nothing fit. Now, let's hear what mental gymnastics are they going to use. I predict that these clowns who were peddling this garbage story are all going to drop it like a freaking hot potato, right? Drop it. They're going to drop it, and they're either going to act like it never happened and go on and sell the next fake bullshit story, or they're going to make mental gymnastic excuses. Well, just because he's a criminal doesn't mean he didn't find that alien base. It's a good indicator that he didn't find shit. So what else can I say, friends? Always happy when there's an audience. Today we had some of our best numbers ever. I am always happy when there's an audience, and tonight we had a great one. Thank you so much for coming here and being a part of mine. I'm going to go get some beverages, probably some alcoholic beverages, and enjoy my very favorite episode of the Midnight Hour show, Bob Lazar Bombshells. I hope you'll be there with me too. And thank you so much all for coming. And I want to thank all you kind and generous benefactors. This is a viewer-supported show, and you guys are making this possible. It is like a dream come true to come here and do something I love and I'm so passionate about, instead of some shit job I hate, like painting houses. You ever paint houses every day of your life with no end? It's one thing to paint your own house, but could you imagine? I got to paint houses every day till I die. That was a terrible job. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I put headphones in, I listen to music, but still, it sucked. I would much rather do something creative, artistic, and intellectually challenging like this. And you guys are the passport helping me achieve that. Thank you all for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. So until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.